Welcome back to the Wardrobe of Woe, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Incarnates and how they work. At the time of recording, there is only one Incarnate, and that is the Crownspire Incarnate of Gur, but I assume GW will be making more Incarnates for each of the various realms, but for the purposes of this video, we'll be taking a look at only the Crownspire of Gur. Without further ado, let's get started. Before we get into the specifics of the Crownspire, we got to talk about how do Incarnates fit into an army and how they work fundamentally. So to start, each Incarnate must be bonded to a hero, and in the process of being bonded, they take up an enchantment slot, so that hero cannot have an artifact. The bonded hero tends to get certain buffs when nearby the Incarnate, and if the bonded hero dies, the Incarnate will go wild. This changes its rules a little bit and means that it'll treat your units as enemies and vice versa. This means it can do damage to you if you're not careful. Additionally, instead of wounds, the Incarnates have levels. So in the Battle Shock phase, you roll 3d6, and if that result is lower or equal to the number of wounds suffered that round, then it loses a level. If it gets to level 0, it is removed from play. This is very powerful, and it's similar to the wounds rules for Lord Croak, meaning that they are fairly difficult to get rid of, and it takes a set amount of time to get rid of them, because only one Battle Shock phase will happen in a set amount of time. Now onto the specific Incarnate for this video. We have the Crownspire Incarnate of Gur, comes in at 400 points. Any army can take one. For the stats, it has 12 movement, 10 bravery, see the previous slide for how its wounds work, and a 3-up save. It has 2 melee profiles, both of which are really good. The Vicious Claws, a 1-inch attack. It has 6 attacks at base, but for each level it has, it adds that number to the amount of attacks it has. It hits on 3s, wounds on 3s, 2 rend, 2 damage. Tearing Fangs has a 2-inch reach. It's 1 attack at base, plus however many levels it has. 3s to hit, 2s to wound, 3s to rend, 4 damage. It has a unique monstrous action where it can attempt to devour an endless spell. So you pick an endless spell within 3 inches and you roll 2d6 plus whatever level you're at. And if it's greater than the endless spell's casting value, then the spell is dispelled and the Incarnate gains a level. On any other roll, the Incarnate's level is reduced by 1. Additionally, the Incarnate acts as a beacon, so to speak, for all-out attack, meaning that every friendly unit within range of the Dominion range on the stat table, it will give all-out attack to all eligible units in that aura. This is very powerful as it allows you to spread command points out very far and get a lot of units that extra combat buff. So you can make your command points go that much further and give you that much more of an edge over your opponent. It gives +1 to casting and unbinding for bonded wizards when they are within range of the Dominion. It gets 1 level if the Incarnate kills a monster, and then when it's in its wild form, it gets +1 to hit, run and charge, and it must charge if anything is within 12 inches of it. This includes your models and endless spells, etc. All units within Dominion range also get the following effects. They get rerolling run rolls and charge rolls. Those units cannot retreat. And if the wizard is not bound to the Incarnate, it gets a -1 to cast and unbind. For my additional thoughts on the Krondspine, we're going to be taking a look at its pros and its cons, as well as how it fits into the overarching Age of Sigmar system. For the pros, it has an amazing damage output, it makes CP more efficient, and it can be very sticky and difficult to remove from play. For the cons, it can potentially come after your units with its amazing damage output, and 400 points can be a little difficult unless you plan for it. The Crownspine is a fantastic addition to any army and has been shown to dramatically increase that army's effectiveness. You just got to be aware that it will make a subpar army much better, but it's also going to make the top army that much better. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, but if you think your army is struggling a bit, consider adding a Crownspine and seeing if it'll help, because every single tournament data that I've seen, Crownspines pop up everywhere. They are very, very efficient and a very good unit to include. Before we end out the video, I'd like to give some extra special thanks to my Patreon supporters. You guys are amazing, and I appreciate each and every one of you. An extra special thanks to Nick Hoff. If you'd like to join the Patreon, there will be a link in the description below, as well as a link to the Discord if you want to come and join that community that we have growing over there. And that was a quick look at the Incarnate Rules and deep dive into the Krondspine Incarnate of Gur. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment, and if you'd like to see more, consider subscribing. This has been the Wargrove of Woe, and I'll talk to you guys next time.